my heart. If I am yours, I am free. My Redeemer has saved me from sin. My soul is awake and I live. Anybody want to be free tonight? It's okay. So raise your hand if you want to be free. Free from what fought me mentally. You captured me in my mind. I am free in my heart. If I am yours, I am free. Mentally. Oh, you captured me in my mind. In my mind, I am free. In my heart, if I am yours, I am free. Oh, mentally, you captured me in my mind. In my mind, I am free. In my heart, if I am yours, I am free. Come on, lift your hands and declare it over your life. Mentally, yeah, you captured me in my mind. Oh, I am free. I'm free. In my heart, if I am yours, I am free. Yeah.
The Spirit of the Lord our God is at rest. There is freedom. You can be freed from bondage and healed from brokenness and full of joy. Be free.
Come on, lift your hands if you know wherever the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. There is liberty. You can be free. You can be free. Lift your hands if you believe it. And if you know you can be free. You can cry out. There is freedom. You can be free from bondage and healed from brokenness.
Help me to be quiet when I'm going through my chaos here. 'Cause I really should be patient while I'm going through your process one more time.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Blessings and prosperity. Blessings and prosperity.
Man, tonight we are in for a treat. We get the honor
Yeah.
of listening to our niece's testimony. Y'all check out her video real quick.
Never late, you're never late. When I look back, I didn't think that I would make it. I was sinking, and the shame came like a wave. I just knew that I was too far gone. Then you showed up. Sing on time, God, on time, God. You love the impossible. On time, God, you love doing miracles. I see it all now. See it all. How your hand was always working. Come on. Even in doubt, you were faithful. You were faithful, never failed. Even when I really thought the doors was one, you showed up.
Man, that was amazing.
Yo, how you
Welcome.
doing?
Y'all, hey, how are y'all?
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, anytime. I'm glad.
Okay, so let me give everybody a little bit. This is our niece, so this is way cool. We started the podcast, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell them a little bit before we get going. My niece messaged me, and she says, "Hey, if God ever tells you that I need to give a testimony, I'm ready." And I was like, "Well, then let's do it." And then it took us forever to get it on the books, but here we are. So tonight we get to hear about, man, vision over self doubt.
Yeah, vision over self-doubt.
Wow, on time, God.
Definitely.
Man,
Definitely.
let's just give it. My niece, I'm gonna see. How old is our niece? What are you?
28.
28? 28 years old?
Yep.
And man, listening to your pre-test, listening to the little pre, I was like, wow, wow, God. I mean, I'm 40, and you've shown my niece already so much, and she's way younger than me. Like, it's amazing. So before we dive in, everybody knows blind faith is told us to start a podcast, told us testimonies that we have a lot of people with faith around us, and their testimonies tell us what faith is. I had no clue what that meant. Remember, I thought Tommy was supposed to do it, not me be on camera. And slowly and surely, he has just shown me how amazing it is, because the testimonies are about him. I mean, we call them our testimonies, but I mean, they're about him. So it's amazing to get to hear all these testimonies of what he has done in people's lives. I want to go ahead and let you kick it off, unless you have something.
Very proud of you.
Thank
Um,
you.
Blessings and prosperity to you, and joyful abundance as well. Go ahead.
All right. So, my testimony is really about vision over self-doubt. Um, I guess I could say it started when I was 12. God literally spoke to me and I got saved. My parents didn't make me do it. They didn't push me to do it. God just spoke to my heart and he was like, it's time. And so I got saved. And then from there, he started to kind of show me things. And of course, I really didn't understand when I was younger what he was showing me. And so when I was about 15 or 16, I think, he gave me this ministry called Majority Different. And it was basically a ministry that helped youth come and worship God freely. They didn't have to worry about, not being able to understand God's word, like, it would have been broken down. Just a place for them to come and just feel comfortable and feel themselves, because a lot of times youth don't feel like themselves when they're in regular church. They don't understand, things go over their heads. And so to have a space that's safe for people to understand the word of God was very, very important. And so we had a conference, and this was the first thing that I had ever done that God was like, you need to do this. And I just went ahead and did it.
And you're 15 years old.
Yeah, I'm 15, 16. Yeah,
Hearing
it
from
was,
God
yeah,
tell you to do and start this youth.
yeah, it was, I guess the start of my journey, should you say, of me actually hearing God, but not really not saying not really knowing it was God, but trying to learn how to navigate through it. And so
Did
I
you make
did
it
this.
at 15?
I can't imagine at 40.
At 15?
Man, no. You're very special to be able to take that on to keep it moving. Yes,
Man.
yes. Oh,
Okay, our bad. That's just
yeah.
wow.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I did it at our local church. And so doing it at our local church meant that the ministry at our church um, had to be a part of it. And so they were kind of, trying to run things, even though me and my friend, who were doing majority different, had a vision that God gave us. Our visions weren't aligning. And so it kind of caused us to um, not abort, but have to settle for what our church said to do, because it was their church and we were using their building.
Uh-huh.
And so, although the conference was very great, amazing, people got saved, we left feeling like we did an amazing thing, but that we did not obey God.
Ah.
And the result of that started a self doubt that I didn't even realize that had been deposited from that instance of disobedience, I guess you would say. Although we obeyed what our church said that we had to do, what God said to do was totally different. And we felt like we did not obey that and we did not honor that.
Mm. So was it because they were the leaders of the church that you guys felt like you could not say, this is what we feel like God has shown us, and that's not it?
Well, the thing about me is I'm going to say it. So I'll say it, but still, it's their house. You still have to honor, you know, what they say. Um, and I'm still learning about all of that. But at that time, we just had to honor what they said, or, I don't know, not have it there. And at that time, we just wanted it to happen. We knew that it had to happen and God was still glorified.
Mhm.
So, that was a big thing. That was a good thing. But
So that planted the seed of self doubt right there.
yeah, yep, that really started my, I guess you can say, journey with self-doubt.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
man, but that's amazing.
Truly is, yes.
A teenage conference
Yes.
at 15.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
And you did what you were told.
Mm-hmm.
Minus
even to
the,
step into
yeah,
into it
yeah.
at that age.
No reluctancy.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And at that time, I had a pastor that was working with us,
Mm-hmm.
and our vision was great. It was big, and we kind of had like a time where we kind of had, I guess, kind of like halted or paused, because we were just trying to figure out what was next.
Mm-hmm.
um
So was
and
that at the beginning of the whole youth thing? You kind of like
yeah,
you jumped into it, you built, you put it all
yep,
up, then you guys had this big conference.
Yeah.
I remember hearing you say in the pre-interview you guys had Michael Todd before he was Michael Todd.
Yeah, we had Michael Todd when he was young, before he was big Michael Todd, what he is now. So yeah, we had Michael Todd there, which was awesome. Um, we had a lot of people, and we probably wouldn't have necessarily had those people if we weren't connected to our church. And so, I'm grateful for that. I really am. And so,
So
with
where
this,
does this lead you now? Now,
so we're sitting here, we're trying to think of what's next because we want to be sensitive, we want to obey because we necessarily didn't the first time. And so while we're in our time of trying to get together and see what's next, one of the pastors that we were working with took basically our idea, rewrapped it, and basically told us that we were lucky that God showed someone else so that they can take it forward. And
Mm,
so hearing that when you're young, people that you think are supposed to protect you, people
mm,
who are supposed to support you, then you get to thinking, well, God, like you showed me this and you were telling me that there's more, but like you start to doubt even more,
mhm,
like, man, am I good enough? Like, was I not good enough to bring forth what you wanted me to? And
mhm.
that wasn't the case at all. But being that young and thinking that,
I think that now.
like I fell into a trap that the enemy wanted me to, not knowing that I did.
Yeah. Yeah, right there.
But also, you played a very integral part in what happened because you actually moved with no reluctancy. So you would never be unseen by the Lord. You did take that step, even
Yeah,
though somebody came in and tried to steal your glory or His glory through you. You moved first. God gave you the vision, and they
yeah,
just did what they did. So, I mean, I mean, you moved,
That's a good point.
and that is a blessing that you moved. That started to, that's just a part of it. You know what I mean? That's a part of the
hmm
journey right now. But I mean, that actually began to build character, and for you to be able to see what's actually, what God is doing for your next step. Because like the lamp post, what I mean, you couldn't see that first step because you was young, but you did what He told you to do. That wasn't your fault. That was just, all of that was uh, a part of God's plan.
yeah, it definitely was. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And so I got through all of that, and I ended up, um, God started revealing more and more stuff to me. And I can't, well, I think I danced at that event, but God started working through me prophetically through dance. He opened up another gift that I did not know that I would have, that I did not know He would use me as great as He did in that. And it was prophetic all in itself. Anytime I had to dance, I prayed, I fasted, I sought God,
Mhm,
asking Him what I should do, what should I dance to, what song. And there was several times where my song was accurate with what the message was that God wanted to bring forth and that the pastor spoke about. And so I started to develop my gift in the prophetic through dance
mhm,
because God was speaking to me then. And so I was gaining confidence.
mhm,
So even though then I had self doubt because of, you know, God gave me a vision, I executed it. And then, someone came in and took it,
mhm,
but then God replaced it and gave me another gift and allowed me to move and flow freely in that gift. And
mhm,
so I honestly did not know like how big my gift of dance is. I haven't danced in so many years, and that's due to just myself. But my gift of dance really made room for me, and I never really realized it until recently. And so I would go to different churches, I would dance. Even the pastor that took my idea asked me to come dance, and he would ask me to come dance regularly. And I did it. I just did it. No
Wow.
matter how I felt in the moment, because of course, due to that situation, I was hurt,
Mhm.
but I still honored and I still honored God and I still did what God told me to do. And so that was a hard thing.
A
Yeah.
Dancing
real
for
hard.
somebody,
You ain't lying about that. That's
Say it again.
Say it again.
I'm telling you, okay, I
Yeah,
know that they,
yeah,
did this, but go do this. That's
yeah,
hard.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
you did it
still, I
though.
did it
Yeah, you did it though.
because
And so
that's what
even
God,
though you felt before that you were disobedient, but you were obedient,
Hmm.
this time you stayed being obedient in what he was giving you to do. So
yeah,
yeah, that's ooh.
I made up my mind that I would be obedient because I knew how it felt when I was disobedient.
Hmm.
So I had to make a choice.
Man.
It's definitely a feeling when you know that you were disobedient, right?
Mhm.
It's different than not knowing you're being disobedient. When you finally sit down and you know that you were disobedient, it just feels so different.
Yeah, it
Oh,
really does. And so, I had prophetic dance, and then God, through that, he started speaking to me, and then I started having dreams.
Hmm.
okay,
Um,
obedience is a choice. Yeah,
it is.
yeah, it
And so
really is.
I started having dreams, and God would reveal things to me. And I had one instance, I had this dream, and I actually had two dreams, and it was about a family. Um, and so I had one dream as it was happening. I didn't know it was happening, but I told my mom, and she told me that while she was at church, that actual thing was happening.
Hmm.
And so I was like, okay, God, I kind of get, I get you. And so then I had a dream, and it was a warning, and it was to the same family that the dream I had before when it was happening as I was dreaming it. It was to that family. And so I had that dream, and it was so scary. It was really scary. And I think I was about 20 maybe at this time.
Mm.
So,
Wow.
God's been working through me and showing me. And so I had a dream, and I told my mom about the dream. And so my mom was like, you should tell them. And so I called them. I told them what God showed me. And they told me, we've got it figured out. We've got it covered. Just pray. I think we're good. And so I seen the person at church, and they looked good. You know, they were good. So I'm like, okay, God, maybe, you know,
Hmm.
maybe you were just warning me. Maybe it really was good. And then tragedy from the warning happened.
Hmm.
And when I tell you that was such a blow to me, I was like, mm-mm, I don't want to dream no more. I'm
Ooh.
like, God, I don't want this no more. I don't want to dream. I don't want to have to tell people. I don't.
Mm.
I
So
don't.
he was opening up prophetically, dance, showing you things through dance, and then started giving you dreams.
Hmm.
And this tragedy made you just want to be done.
Just want to be done. I don't want it at all.
Wow.
At all. And so I felt so bad because I felt like what more was there that I could do? I didn't have a mentor in the prophetic that would show me or tell me how to handle these situations. It was kind of just me and God. And so God allowed someone to call me and tell me I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what's going on. But God wanted you to know that you did everything you could do. You did what I told you to do. And so right there, like I started breaking down because I'm like, okay, dang God, first of all, that was quick. Like I literally just said that 5 minutes later, somebody's calling me and telling me what God told
I
them.
love that though.
That's the relationship.
Yeah.
That's how close y'all are.
That gives me that awe.
Yeah, that's the
like
yeah.
he just like yeah.
He
And
worked.
they had no idea what I was going through. The person didn't know at all.
Yeah.
I was close to the person, but I
Mhm.
never told them anything about these dreams or anything like that.
So he confirmed that I heard you. You did what I asked.
It's not your fault.
Did that
And
make you feel
so
better?
it made me feel better. It made me feel um, a lot better. It did. But from that point, I started searching for, I guess, a mentor
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't want to feel what I felt in that moment again. And
Mhm.
I wanted to learn how to cultivate my gift and understand what God was doing in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be reckless. I wanted to make sure that I knew what to say, when to say, and how to say. Now I understand that sometimes people just don't receive what you say. You could be spot on, you could be right. Some people just don't receive it. But I didn't know that at that time. I was still trying to learn how to cultivate the gift.
Mhm.
Bad thing about it is, but I guess you could say it was good that God didn't give me a mentor. He gave me mentors, but they just fell off.
Yeah, he's the mentor though.
So he didn't really
Yeah.
want you to have one.
He's gonna
He only wanted
yeah,
to
he's
listen to
gonna
him.
be he's gonna mentor through him, through other people, through your circumstances and situations. Some people don't
Yep.
get it. We just gotta deal directly with God.
Yep. There would be people that would come, say they wanted to be my mentor, and then they would just fall off.
Hmm.
So
And so
did that bother you? Did
it
that
did.
like plant another little seed that
It did. Because I'm like, God, why can't I have a mentor? Like, people have mentors. Like, why are you not allowing me to have a mentor?
right.
Hmm.
And so I actually got the answer to that question last night as I was,
Wow.
like prepping for this because I had been on a fast for 3 days.
Mhm.
And God had told me that He basically said, and I wrote it down. Um, I said, I would always wonder what was wrong with me. But God said, I want you to hear me. I want to talk to you. I want to prepare you. You wouldn't have gotten here if I didn't have your ear.
Mm.
And so I had to learn to listen to
Man.
God
Wow.
because God knew that in that moment, if He would have given me a mentor,
Hmm.
They
every single issue I had, I would have ran to them asking them, what do I do?
Won't he do it? Ain't he amazing?
right. And not him.
Man.
And
Right.
not God. I
I-
would have been trying to not idolizing them, but like I would have went to them before I went to God.
Right.
Yeah, because how
Because
many
He would have
times do we
given
pick
me.
up the phone to call
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
else to talk to them about
Yeah.
something that we really need to go to God with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But especially if it's a mentor,
Yeah.
yeah.
They just resources. He's the direct source. And
Yeah.
he knows us, from the
Right.
womb that we was formed in, you know what I mean? He already know
Yeah.
what we're gonna do. So he's just like, nah,
You
talk
said
straight to
from the
me.
womb,
Yeah.
and that brings us to that's your scripture, right?
That is my
Jeremiah
scripture.
1:5.
Yeah.
Jeremiah 1:5.
Yeah. He knows
Yeah.
That is
you.
my scripture.
Yeah, he knows you.
Wow.
Yeah.
God gave me that scripture, and I had no idea why He gave me that scripture. I loved it. It's tattooed on me.
Uh-huh.
Like I had no idea why He gave me that scripture. And I got a mentor now.
Yeah.
And so my mentor one day, um, it was one of her verses in like one of our sessions, and she broke it down so good that
Mhm.
I was like, oh, so God was speaking to me through that verse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, before, uh, oh, Jesus Christ. I didn't forget how the verse goes.
Before you were placed in your mother's womb.
Yeah, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you.
There we
Before you
go.
were born, I sanctified you and uh I ordained you a prophet to the nations. So it was like before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. So
Mm-hmm.
he took time to create me
Most definitely.
and who I am. He
Mm-hmm.
knew who I was going to be. Like I was that special to God that he took time to create me.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that just blow your mind? He's like, before I formed you, before you were even there in the
Man.
womb, I already knew you.
Yeah, he knew me.
It's like, wow.
Yeah.
You knew me
I can't
before
even.
that?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
I can't even comprehend
So why would
that.
I
Like,
heard the other day
yeah.
somebody talk about, they did it in a way of talking about an iPhone because like you're talking about before I formed you. So she said if your iPhone's broke,
Mm-hmm.
you don't take it to Android, you take it to the manufacturer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And she said in the manufacturer because they know how to fix it. They built it, they created it, here it is. And she's like, and if you can't reach the manufacturer, then you go to the manual. So she said, so I'm always wondering, us as humans, we're broken. Why are we not going to the manufacturer?
Yeah.
And it blew my mind. I was like, duh, he created us. So if you have issues and you're broken, why are you not going to him? And then she was like, and if you can't reach him, you don't hear him, he's not talking. Have you been to the manual? And she held up her Bible. She's like, have you been to the manual? And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, dang. I mean, it's like a duh moment, but it just was so like spot on. Like, wow. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Because he created you before he knew you in your womb. So then he already knows what we need, when we need it, why. I mean, all of it.
Yep. He knew what we would go through, what we would become. Yeah.
And
And
the
And
enemy's a
he
liar too. So
man,
yeah, he's gonna make you think something that you know what I mean. That's not really true. So you won't connect. You know what I mean? He
yeah.
blocks that. He tries to block it. He can't. He can't block nothing because he's weak. But
Right.
he's very. Yeah. He tries to though. He's got to be aware of that. You know, of the enemy's foolishness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you've done a pretty prolific job.
so now where are we at? You're in your 20s
hmm
and you've got a couple seeds. Have you noticed or have you kind of just moved on past these things? So after the whole dream happens, where are you sitting at then? Where's your faith? Where are you sitting at with him? The
So
mentors are coming and going out the door. Now where are
yeah.
we at with God and our faith?
So at that time, like I said, with the dream, I didn't want it. I didn't want the gift that God had given me. I really didn't mean it. But, at that time, like, it's like, dang, we took a blow
Mm-hmm.
because, like I said, I didn't know how to handle my gift and how to deal with the emotions that came with my gift of things that, you've seen that was a warning and you try to give a warning and they just didn't listen. And then, then the tragedy happens. And so, like I said, I try to have mentors, just to kind of try to understand my gift, and God didn't give him to me. So I had to literally lean on God. And I think that that situation really made my relationship with God stronger, because I had to actually lean on him to kind of learn and navigate my way through the things that he was going to show me, the things that he was going to tell me. Um, so at the time when tragedy happened, my faith was low. But then God started to build me back up again.
Mm-hmm.
And that word, when she called me and told me, I did exactly what God told me to do, that elevated my faith more, because I was like, okay, I didn't miss. Not saying like I didn't miss, but I obeyed God. I did what he told me to do. And that was all he wanted me to do. And I did that. I'm good. I'm
Hmm.
sad that, tragedy happened,
Hmm.
but I'm glad I listened to God and what he told me to do.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Listening to that, it wasn't really a tragedy because God is the storm, if that makes any sense. God is God is a storm. If you're going through whatever the tragedy, God is that. Because like you said, he's gonna do any and everything to get you close to him. No matter what it is, he's gonna remove what he gonna remove. And you're gonna be like, man, what's going on? You're gonna go to God. Well, he ain't talking to you enough, but let me make this happen right here. Let me make this happen right here. And then once you get back on that level to where you and him just lined up, he'll smooth it back out again, stray again, and he's gonna start removing things and doing things like you said, the tragedy. But he is the storm. He's the storm. You
Think
know what I
all of
mean?
them?
Huh?
Think all of
Yeah, because he created everything. So he's got a part of everything. He's created everything. He created the enemy. So he may use him, but just like
you think he uses him? I don't think he uses him.
he used him in Job. He said, just don't harm a hair on
You
his
mean
head.
he told him
Do what
against
you want to do, but just don't touch him.
Job is a whole nother.
But I mean, he
That
used
is
him
like
though.
Job is like,
Right,
man. Have
right,
you read Job?
right.
I have.
Yeah,
Man, I started listening to Job and I was like,
yeah,
man, I feel Job all the way.
yeah,
Like this is
yeah.
oh, hey Deborah. Hey Deborah, she on there.
But think about that tragedy though. You know what I'm saying? And God was behind it. If that makes any sense, He created
Well, he
everything.
told him he could.
So he's in control
Hmm.
of everything.
Yeah. Okay, I see
Yeah.
what you're saying now. Yeah, he
Yeah. I
Mhm.
mean,
did what he said.
God gave the warning. They didn't listen, so then he allowed
Right,
it to happen.
right.
So
God is in control of everything.
Yeah.
it was a tragedy, though. It was a real life tragedy.
Oh yeah,
But
most definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
So moving forward, hey mama, I just look. I'm starting to try to read comments. I miss the comments. I feel like I be trying to listen. Then the comments come on the screen. One day I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this down, and I'm gonna be like smoothly with it. Um, so now moving forward in your 20s. I mean, I know you're still in your 20s. Hold
yeah,
on to them because they fly by. You're in your 20s, and so now where do we move after this? So,
yeah. So after that,
Mhm.
um, I fell in love with doing nails. And so I went to school, I became licensed, and God had told me that that was part of my ministry, making women feel beautiful. And so um, I don't even know how I came up with my business name. Like, I don't even remember, but it's She is Crown Beauty. It was a couple of things before it became She is Crown Beauty, but I don't know how I got to the She is Crown Beauty. And so I went to school, and this became something that God gave me, telling me that I would do things at like a discounted price for people that may not be able to afford it, um,
uh-huh.
and just help people to feel kind of what I didn't feel all the time. And then it was giving me an opportunity to listen to people and to actually be able to pour into people at the same time, because God made me such a gentle spirit, a gentle person, such a soft person. Um, I love people, even if they get on my nerves. I love people. And so God made me that way for a reason. God made me that way for a reason. So I'm very soft, I'm very gentle. I listen. Um, as my mom says all the time, I have wisdom beyond my years.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even know how I have the answer. Well, I know it's God, but at that moment, I don't know how I have the answers to some of the things that, I even have aunts that are older than me that will call me and be like, "Hey, you got so much wisdom. What do you think about this?" And I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But God gives me what to say in the times when I should speak.
Yes.
And so she's Crown Beauty. It's my baby now. It is something that God has given me that no one has been able to take away from me.
Can't take it.
He has protected it.
Yes.
He's cultivated me in it, and he's provided ways for me in it. And so at the same time that I had came up with She is Crown Beauty, I had been in school. I finished school, and one day I said, "Mom, I want to make a shirt." And she's like, "Okay, what do you want to put on the shirt?" And I'm like, "Vision over self-doubt." And she's like, "Why?" I'm like, "I don't know."
I'm just gonna throw it out there. It's my first swag for the blind faith. I received my vision over self doubt shirt today.
I need
Yeah,
a hoodie. I need a hoodie for the winter. My cash app will
I
be on
got
the
you.
way. Yeah, don't worry
I
about it.
got you.
We missed some comments. What was the first one? Can you read those? They're small.
God gave you a business to for you to work through and get to people through him.
And you said, yeah,
That
let's
is
hit that.
amazing.
You said that you didn't even feel that. For you to minister to people to feel beautiful,
Yes.
and you weren't feeling beautiful.
Yeah.
So you don't feel beautiful, but you're ministering to people
Yes.
to make them feel beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Wow.
where she is crown
Crown
beauty.
Wow.
Makes a lot of sense now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I asked my mom to make me a shirt. She said, "What do you want to say?" I said, "Vision over self-doubt." She's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Like, I really did not know. At that time, I had no idea what vision over self-doubt meant or what it would mean.
Yeah.
And so me, I like to be in the entrepreneurial space. So I feel like everything that God gives me is a business, every
Right.
name that I get. So I'm
Uh-huh.
like, oh, maybe it'll be, a business. I'll do something with it. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
And so um I had also been working in the mental health field. Um in that field, I was able to as well speak into people and really just be my true self. And after that, God had given me this thing called Grace for This Space. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's another business." Like,
Mm.
"Okay, God, like, okay, I get it. You're giving me businesses." And I did not know until maybe a month ago. I had
Mm-hmm.
came to Hannibal, and my parents had left. They went to St. Louis, and I was like, "Oh, I'll stay home." And so I was just driving around the city of Hannibal, and I just started to pray because I had drove through every part of Hannibal, and I was just bored. And God speaks to me a lot when I'm in the car. I don't know why, but God
That's
speaks to
isolating.
me. He speaks to me a lot when I'm in the car.
Yeah.
And so I was praying, and he started to reveal to me every saying that I might have thought was a business over the span of me getting saved. He started telling me what it was. And so he was like, "Majority different. You are different than the majority." And
Mm-hmm.
then I had one called Out of Fear into Boldness. And he
Mm-hmm.
was like, "I was taking you out of fear into boldness." And then I had She is Crown Beauty. He
Mm-hmm.
was telling me that I am Crown Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was saying vision over self-doubt. He was telling me to remember the vision that I gave him and that I will overcome self-doubt.
Mm.
And then he gave me Grace for This Space. and he was telling me that there are spaces that I have graced you for.
Mm.
And so all this time, I'm thinking these are all businesses,
Mm-hmm.
but it's literally God speaking to me. And I did not realize it until recently. I'm
Wow.
going to start crying.
Wow.
Hey, how
That
could
is I
man?
read she is being trained in fivefold.
Yeah, how could you not cry? I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I was crying. And I can say, I think from the age of 22, I think it was 22, 23, until just last Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
during this time while God was still speaking to me, I was not even in church. I wasn't going to church. Like, I would watch online sometimes, but I wasn't like in church. If I came to Hannibal, I think I went to church for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
But any other time, like, I had not been in church. I had been watching a month prior, after God gave me that revelation. I had started watching a church online, and my mentor was telling me, hey, you need to get back into church. And so, I was like, I'm watching it online. She was like, no, you need to go in person. And I'm like, okay, I will. I will at some point. Like, I just didn't, I don't know. I really just didn't want to be in church. And maybe because of my past experiences that I've had in church, it
Mm-hmm.
kind of made me be like, yeah, I don't really want to be in church. I still honor, reverence, believe in God, love God, but I didn't want to be really in the house of God, if that makes sense, just because of the things that I had went through with different churches and different ministries.
So church hurt had kept you out of stepping in a church.
Yeah, and it wasn't the initial either. I had just gone through different things because I
Mm-hmm.
had went to a different church, and then I just went through different things, and I was just like, you know,
So he
I'm
had been
good.
speaking over the years what you thought were businesses. He was telling you about yourself. He was
Yeah,
telling you what he sees in you.
yeah. He was affirming me,
Mm.
and I did not know.
He set you apart, and once you realized it, it all makes sense. Then you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like the whole journey of your life. Up to this point, I know there's a lot more to the story, but he set you apart. But when he sets you apart, you don't know what he's doing. And you're like, man, what? What's going on here? But once you get to the end of that, God
Right.
is never lost.
So now that you
Man,
got that, like last
mm.
Sunday, man, I
Praise
know
him.
this week has just been.
Uh,
What has this week been like?
So God gave it to me last month.
yeah.
Last
He
month.
affirmed me like last month.
Mhm.
Last Sunday
Mm.
is when I actually stepped foot back into a church.
Well,
Praise him.
right.
Yeah. And God has always been speaking through me. And
Mhm.
there had been maybe like a year or two where I was like, man, I'm not really hearing God like I used to. Like,
Mhm.
I'm just really not. And so I get nervous when it's time for me to go to church, like to walk into a building.
Uh-huh.
Like, I get nervous for some reason. Like, I get butterflies,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, oh, maybe I really don't want to do this. But when I woke up that morning, there's a song that it says, "Come out of hiding, you're safe here with me."
Mhm.
And that's what I heard. Like, that song was playing in my head when I woke up out of my sleep.
Mhm.
And so while I was going to the church, I felt peace. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't nervous at
Right.
all. And when I stepped into the church, it was so much peace. Like, I
Mhm.
belonged there.
Yeah.
Like, there was,
Amen.
Nobody could tell me you're not supposed to be here.
You set my little spirit on
Yeah,
fire. I'm
mine
forgetting
too.
that. Wow.
Yeah.
Like nobody, and I texted my mentor. I was like, I finally went to church and I felt so much peace, and I've never felt this peace before.
Mhm.
Like I've never felt a peace like that before.
That only he can give.
Priceless.
Walking
Oh,
into a church,
man.
and I was just like, I'm going to church from now on.
Amen.
Yeah. So God was like, don't forget the visions that I've showed you.
That is
Mm.
amazing.
Don't forget.
I know
It's
it's
So
time
good, right? Boy, all the time.
Comment.
Undefeated, the
It's
Lord
time
is.
to dance again, baby girl.
Oh, undefeated.
Man, it is like
Mm.
I don't know that I was prepared, because the last little part, I didn't know that in the last month, what he has been showing you, that is, man.
Yeah. And he was just saying, don't forget the vision that I've showed you. Because I get into bouts of procrastination
Mhm.
and I'll sit there and God will give me visions and he'll be like, do this, do that. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. But is anybody gonna support me? Like I always have these internal battles with I know what God says, but then, there's always a conflict, within me. But God always continues to say, don't forget the vision I've showed you, and I'll handle the self doubt.
Mhm.
And so now I'm able to, start getting back into those things that He has shown me and
Mhm.
told me to do. And now I'm just
Amen.
doing them.
Preaching. Man,
Man.
I'm listening too. Oh.
Uh-huh.
God will take care of you. I've always loved God. Like,
Mhm.
listen, I love God. I really do. And I'm so excited for where He's going to take me and what He's going to do. I've always said, if I ever get my life together and really understand who I am and God, enemy's going to have a problem.
Man.
He already got one.
Right.
He already got one the way you preaching tonight. That's a heck of a story you got right there. He already got one.
Surely.
Man, surely you are chosen right now at this point in time in your life. Right
Yeah.
now.
Man.
Yeah.
Which is why the procrastination came in.
Yes.
He
That's
needs to slow you down.
That's the
because
enemy
he already
trying to.
knows.
That's the enemy.
Yeah.
Trying to let him know
Yeah.
he do. Yeah, that's weak.
And I've gotten prophetic words
Yes.
that have told me, God sees you as beautiful
Yes.
and you'll make more money than you've ever made, but you have to get used to showing your face. And that's one thing I don't want to do.
How could
I
you
do
not
not want
want
to show
to
my
glow on
face.
it like that? Look at that glow on that face right there. You
I
don't
don't
want
want to show
that
my
glow on it.
face.
Glow.
I'm good being in the background.
Hey, your auntie right here. That's why I'm struggling.
That's me. I'm
with
good being in the background.
Yeah, put me in the back and I'll work. I'll work my little heart's desire.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like being like my mom in the background.
Ain't nobody see her.
Can't see her, but she's there.
We call her our backstage. We be getting in trouble. Right. That's where I want to be at. But he calls us. I think somebody said, chosen for a time such as this in the comment, like set apart, I think is what it said. Set apart for such a time as this. And when he says, come to the front, you're like, are you sure you're talking to me?
Yeah, but But when you're walking with the Lord, He's only in the background for so long. He's only in the background until He gets to you or me or you or whoever it is and says, "Show Him my grace." Once you show His grace through you, He is being seen. He's never.
They don't even see us.
No, yes, God is never unseen.
Like she said, He said, if you come out of hiding,
Yeah,
I'll take care of the self-doubt.
Yeah,
like
He got your back no matter what.
In front.
Yeah, He got your back.
But
He got your back no matter what.
I feel you there. That's where I have struggled, which has landed me in disobedience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like I'm gonna make more money, but I'm struggling with just wanting to be seen. I want to be seen. But I have to get over it because obviously God wants me to be seen for a
Yes.
reason.
Yes. Blessings.
Because you
Plenty.
got a lot to say.
Yes.
He has given you a lot to
Yes.
say.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm so quiet.
The glow, though. It's the glow.
Quiet little spirit.
So what comes out of your mouth that
Wow.
he's giving you to say, like, don't worry about what to say in this time. I'll give you what to say. He has given it to you, and it is powerful.
Yes. And it's not meant for you to be quiet.
Yeah.
No.
Somebody comment over here said, background is for training.
Yeah.
So obviously your training's over.
Yeah. You are glowing right
Training's
now.
over, and you got to come to the front.
Yes. You want people to see the glow.
Yeah. I say God made me the female version of my dad. My dad is quiet, but
Oh, wait a minute. I've been
when
on
you
that
ask
with his
him,
1-2 punch. You know, he don't have much to say, but when he says it, that 1-2 punch knockout, I'm like,
when he
boy,
says
you got to get
something,
that to him. Well, you know, you're like, man, that was a lot.
yeah,
When he says it, yeah.
quiet, but when God tells you to say something, it's gonna be something.
That is
Man,
amazing.
so what would you tell somebody who says, I have a lot of self-doubt and I don't know that I can do this. I know what God's saying, but I know what I see, I know how I feel. What would you tell that person?
I would tell them to walk with God first. Make sure that you always have your ear to him, because even when you think that he's not speaking, he is. It's up to you to listen. Because sometimes when we're in our space of self doubt and not thinking that we're good enough, or not thinking that we can't achieve something that he has set out for us to do,
Mhm.
we shut down.
Mhm.
We don't want to hear. The second thing is, if God allows you to have a mentor. I have two great mentors right now. One of them is actually my spiritual mother, Prophetess Margaret Green. She kind of gave me back the fire. Um, I started her mentorship, Girl Get Your Strength Back, and it literally helped strengthen me to get to where I am now. And then I also have another mentor. Her name is Latanya Brock, and she is helping me now in the space that I'm in. And so I would say, if God allows, make sure that you have a mentor, if he'll allow you to, because your mentor, and those times where you feel self-doubt, you can't hear from God, they'll help pull you up. And I would say, even though during the times that I felt self doubt, I wasn't in church, I would say to still be in church, whether you're watching online or
Mhm.
you're going physically, because week after week, there's going to be at some point a word that's going to click for you,
Mhm.
and it's going to help you.
Mhm.
And I would also say, have a journal. I am a big writer. I love to write. I write down my feelings. Um, and so I keep them, and I can see and look back and see what God was bringing me through and what he was saying to me during that time. Because I would end up starting writing how I feel, but then God would start responding, and I would start writing that, not knowing.
Wow.
So that's
Mhm.
what I would say for people who deal with self doubt and don't know what to do. Make sure you're always praying. If you have to, fast. Um, I used to live a fasting lifestyle because I danced all the time. And so I always had to make sure, one of my leaders in dance, she always taught us that at least 24 hours before you dance, you need to fast.
Mhm.
And so we would always dance once a month. So we would always fast at least 24 hours every month. And
Mhm.
so I was living a fasted lifestyle. And so I would say, if you can fast, it's going to be hard at first, but God is going to speak so much in that fast. Like last night, I was like, okay, I'm gonna write down my notes, what I'm gonna say. And God would say something to me. And then I was like, I went to go lay down, turn off my light. And he was like, hold on, I got some more. So I had to go back. So, like,
That I'm not done speaking.
fasting. Yeah, I would say to fast as well, especially if you need to get out of self doubt. But God will always pull you out.
Right, because that's the enemy's tactic is those toxic thoughts. I mean, if
Yeah.
he can come after you with your mind, you know, your thoughts, he can slow you down, he can all those things. And so, yeah, I mean, I completely community, church, prayer. I'm trying to get on the journaling, you know. That's a new thing for me, but I see how it's good. Like you said, you can see what you're going through, what you're where you're at, what God has been speaking to you, what he gives you, the scriptures. And then for me, later when I go back and read it, you know, a month or two later, I'm like, oh, that's what you meant. Like
Yeah.
it is helpful, like huge for that.
Yeah.
Man, you
Wow.
got something? This was so different than what I thought tonight was going to go like. And I'm amazed every time I do this. And, you know, one day I'm thinking, am I ever not going to be amazed? But I realize this is his story. So, you know, he curbs them, he tells them, and they just blow my mind each time. I feel honored that he even asked me to come to the front, be on the camera, and do this. I mean,
Yeah.
it's amazing to hear how he.
This is a blessing right here. I'm truly blessed to have heard your story, and um, you've touched me in a lot tonight too.
Your mom said he's proud.
Yes.
Oh,
Thank the
thanks,
Lord.
Mom.
Yeah. People need to
I'm
see that.
always so quiet. I never tell my story. You
Mhm.
know, people who've been along for the ride, like my mom, you know, she knows parts. I don't tell her everything, of course, but like my mom knows parts. She's seen my evolution, you know, she's seen when I've been down, and you know, she's always been there. She's always spoken to me even when, you know, and she don't be like, Kyairra, can you please? No, Kyairra, I want you to do this, that, and the other. And so, you know, having a great mother, having a great father who knows what God has called you to do and can pull it out of you and push you through it, even when you don't feel like it, is
Mm,
a blessing and an honor.
wow.
Truly is amazing.
You're beyond your years at
Man,
28, way beyond.
amazing.
You know, you have taught your uncle and your aunt some things.
A lot.
Yeah, you said a lot tonight. So, I mean, your generation is blessed that he has
Amen.
called you out to the front line.
I always pray before I do anything. And I mean, before I dance, even before I came on the podcast tonight, I always pray and I always tell God to work through me. Whatever He wants me to do, I'll do it. Whatever He wants me to say, I'll say it. And
Mhm.
so I always set the stage to be obedient and allow God to work through me in every situation.
And that's the job, right? That's the here I am, use me, Lord. Yes, I'll
And
say
that's my
it.
prayer every time.
Man, big, big, big.
I'm in total awe right now.
I,
I'm in awe right now.
you know what? And
Whoa.
we're not really kind of speechless people.
No,
I
I'm
know,
just
and I'm
like,
like,
wow.
okay. You know, I couldn't find my notes for tonight because you know I'm a big note taker. And your sister, and you know, well, I said your sister, my sister, your mama's in the back laughing. I know because she wants me to throw my notes out, but I couldn't find them tonight, and I was panicking. I said, okay, Lord, this is gonna go the way you want it to go, and it has been amazing,
Yeah. That's
amazing.
how
I
that's how
see
he
why
wants it
my notes were
sometimes.
thrown out now because it went in a total different direction. And
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. That was God. Cause at the beginning during the countdown when she was playing Free. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute, this ain't my song. And so I was like, okay, God, well, maybe you want me to hear this.
Yes, man, it was lovely. Look, where we at on our time? You know, because we talk about the back office. That's what we call it. The back office get on to us when we be over our time. You know, on a wrap up. So, man, it was truly a blessing. Is there any other little nugget you want to drop to anybody before we go off? Like, or is there any questions? I know we have people, we've had a lot of comments and I try to catch them all and read them. Is there any questions before we log off that you may have for Kyairra? I mean, let's see.
I knew that I said something to you about vision over self-doubt, and I'm using my phone right now, so I can't even look at it, I don't think.
I remember you saying that before you knew, but you kind of, you know, he had said it, but he asked you, when were you going to trust his vision over your self-doubt?
Yeah.
I remember that because that hit me when you said it in the pre-interview. You said when she prayed, she said, God said, when are you going to trust my vision over your self-doubt? And I thought, man, is that for me? Like that. That's how I was sitting there in the pre-interview, like, was that for me? Because it hit me.
So walk by faith and not by sight.
And not by sight. That's what that is. I mean, and we talked about this before. It's his plan. So, I mean, we don't know what his plan is. So you got to roll with him, which means I gotta trust and not focus on what I can see because it's his plan.
But when the storm comes, you got to understand he is the storm too. That is, yes, he is causing it.
I feel like some is just life, some's enemy, and some is part of the plan.
How could it just be somewhere just life? He created everything.
You're right about that. We've been talking about him. We've been talking about that, about him being the creator of everything
that you see, that you talk about.
And that came off of me realizing, how can you show me something? He showed me something. Yeah. And I thought, how can you show me something that is not here yet? And then I realized, you can show me because you've already met him. You've already seen him. Yeah, before I placed you in the womb, I knew you. So let me show you what I already have formed, and it's not even there yet. Exactly. So, which blew my mind. I mean, completely, like, blew my mind, realizing, wow, God, you are amazing.
Man,
like, you,
undefeated.
like, wow. Who there? Like, when they say there's no other, there really is no other.
Yeah,
you can do that. So that hit me that day when she said that. I mean, I think I thought about it for a whole week because
I found what I said too.
Say.
So God, when I was driving again, God had said, when is what I show you going to be more important than what the enemy tells you?
Well, we're going to have to wrap it up with that.
You are preaching right there. Ow! Man.
Say it one more time. Say it one more time. Maybe we can get it across the screen. Say it one more time.
Goodness. God had said, when is what I showed you going to be more important than what the enemy tells you? And that's the whole purpose of vision over self-doubt.
What do people do?
Hey, just drop the whole screen. Boom.
When is what I showed you, tell you, going to be more important than what the enemy tells you? When is what I showed you going to be more important than what I showed you? Than what the
enemy told me.
Wow.
That
hit me right there. I'm blessed to be in your presence tonight, Mr. McFall.
It's all God.
I'm blessed. Man. Oh my God. I can't believe this.
It's all God.
You talking to him?
Always. Always.
We need more of you on air.
That comment came across and said, okay, let's read it. Read it, babe. What does it say?
When is what I showed you going to be more important than what the enemy told you? Hey, if it rhyme, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Huh? Man.
I think that's
I gotta write that down.
that's a word that will last. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that is one to grab a hold of. Like, man. So we have a question for you. It says, "What a blessing. What's next?"
Ugh, gosh, I don't know. So, of course, I do nails. I sell press-on nails. Um, I have, of course, the shirts that I do that say vision over self-doubt.
Got my swag.
I have a shirt that says visionary. And, just, I don't know, whatever God tells me, of course, there's going to be a time where I start dancing again. And it's probably going to be soon. Whenever my mom calls on me, that'll probably be the next time that I dance. And then just trying to, while I have a mentor that's helping and cultivating me, just kind of learning to cultivate my gift, like I said, but at the same time, just follow God. Because everything that, y'all heard tonight, it was just me and God. It wasn't even me and a mentor at that time.
Wow. We got a
So,
preaching. Is there any preaching to youth? Possibly.
I don't consider myself to be a preacher.
You don't really see yourself as a preacher. Well, I
I
hate
don't.
to
I
what
don't.
out.
I know I've had visions of me speaking
Mhm.
before, like God showing me that I would speak, but I don't know if it's a preacher, preaching. Um, but I know that there's going to be a time where God's going to have me speak, and I don't know in what capacity, but He'll
Wow.
reveal it.
He's flowing right through you, though,
Woo!
without a doubt about it.
This was great. Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
No
for being
problem.
bold enough to say you were bold enough to say I already got her on a program. That's what your mom said. You were bold enough to come to me and say, you heard God, you knew it, you came to me, and you knew that you needed to tell your testimony. He said, tell it. Yeah.
And I was driving.
Wow.
I was driving when God told me to say that. And I had seen us on me and you doing a podcast episode, and I didn't know what it would be about. And so I was just like, if God ever tells you, I was driving.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, thank you for your obedience,
Man.
learning to be obedient. I say it, other people say it's hard. It's hard
It
to learn
is.
to be obedient. It's like somebody said earlier in the comments, it's a choice. You do have to choose to be obedient to him. So thank you for being obedient.
And
This
thank y'all. I'm so proud of y'all.
Thank you.
I'm more proud of you, really.
Yeah, we're trying. We are
Yeah.
really trying. This podcast needs to be a regular, and this is my struggle in being obedience to be on screen.
You're
But
doing it.
yeah,
Just
it's
don't stop.
amazing to hear his stories. This was great. That last word. Can we put that word again up on the screen before we go out of here? Because we don't want nobody to forget that.
Please don't forget it.
Man.
I gotta write that down.
Everybody write that down.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kyairra. Thank you, everybody. I want y'all to go. You got a website, right? She is Crown Beauty, where they can go order press-on nails. And
My website's not up right now. I'm revamping. So it'll be back up, but they can follow me on Instagram or Facebook at She is Crown Beauty.
there we go. Everybody go follow. Get your shirt. I'm gonna be wearing my vision over self-doubt now. I'm gonna need one maybe with that on it now. That whole what he gave you. That was good. Go catch her. There it is. At She is Crown Beauty, so that you can order yourself some swag, get you some press-ons. And we are back next week. So everybody come back next week. We've got a full month of October of testimony, so we will be here every Friday of the month of October and trying to move forward in that way. Thank you so much for blessing us, Kyairra. Thank you, everybody.
Blessings and prosperity. Blessings and prosperity.
Love
Y'all have
y'all.
a good night. Love you guys.
Love y'all, man.
See you next Friday.
Love you, Kyairra.
Love y'all.